everyone, and welcome back to Let's Shop Cake Live with me, Tracey Mann. So it's been a while since we've been live, so we're looking forward to today showing you, of course, some new ideas and some new products that we, or me rather, because Kelly's not here at the moment, have come up with for you to have a go at to make some really lovely creations with cake and also with cookies as well. So we are approaching Valentine's Day, so we've moved on from that now because obviously we need to, whatever we sell you needs to go through the post, and we're looking forward now towards Mother's Day, Easter Day, and some of the other bits and pieces that are coming up. So thank you very much for joining me. We aren't live every Saturday at the moment. We are live every other, or every 1 in 3 or something along those lines. Kelly isn't with me at the moment. Kelly is currently in the Netherlands where she is living, but Kelly will be back. So we are going to be having a live on Tuesday, the, help me, something like 21st of February, where Kelly will be here with me, and we will be doing another live then, but dates and that will follow for that particular event, so we will let you know when that's going to happen. So I hope you're all getting ready to do your Valentine's creations, but in the meantime I am going to show you all the bits and pieces that I've come up with for you, including classes and also some new cookie cutters. I hear some of you go, oh no, not again. But yes, there are some new ones to look at this morning as well. So we are going to start discontinuing some of our original cookie cutters to make way for the new ones. So you're going to start seeing over the next few weeks some of those cookie cutters being listed as discontinued, and there will be a little discount on them, and then once they're gone, that will be it. So we are starting now to clear some of our cookie cutters because we've got quite a lot now, and move forward with some of our new designs, because I've got lots of designs that I want to be able to bring to you, but I need the space on the website as well. So that's what we're going to be doing. So here we go. So let's start off with the Cake School. So for those of you that follow me on the Cake School, we go to a different page. We go to this one here, which is traceymanncakeschool.co.uk. So we have got our brand new Cake School, which started, I was thinking online back during COVID, and it's building and building all the time now. We went to monthly membership at the end of last year. We've done a end of year before actually, so we're now making our way all the way through to where we are now with membership, as well as being able to buy the classes as well. So what's next? That's always the big thing, isn't it? What are we doing next? So the next class we've got coming up is on the 18th of February, which is next Saturday. So this is the cupcake bouquet class. So we've introduced cupcake bouquets now. So we have 1, 2 already that are available on the site. And this is the new one. This is the pink zinnia one. So this is the pink peonies with the zinnias. There they are. And this is a new class coming out on the 18th of February. So this is next Saturday. So you kind of got a choice here. You can either sign up as a monthly member, and if you sign up on Gold membership, you will get access to this class and all the other classes. Or you can purchase the class and you get to keep it. So it's up to you. It's entirely up to you what you would like to do. But this is the new class that's coming out. We're building on these cupcake classes, so you'll see more and more appearing coming on the site as we go through the year. So if you want to have access to more of them, then obviously joining as a member makes good sense. So there we are. I'm assuming Nikki must be on here because there's links going up, which is very helpful. Thank you, Nikki, if that's you. That's very good of you. So yes, this class is new and it comes out on the 18th, which is next Saturday. So Gold membership gives you access to everything. So that gives you access to all the cake painting, which I'm going to show you a new one in just a second, and all my sugar craft classes as well, and obviously the cupcake bouquets on top of that as well. So for $12.50 a month, it's a really good way of being able to get access to a lot of information, so that you can enjoy learning cake decorating. And $12.50 a month, not too bad, I don't think. I think we're very reasonable for the amount of content that we're putting out at the moment. There's lots and lots of fresh content that's been made. In fact, I've nearly completed an entire year. I've absolutely stormed ahead of myself this year. I think I've benefited from a quiet January by doing as much filming as possible. So this is the next cupcake bouquet one that's coming out. So we're going to move that out of the way now so I don't end up knocking it. And then we had a request back from a lady who is, I'm sure, probably on, and that's Donna, for scenery painting. So we are now entering a phase of scenery painting on the Cake School as well. So we do have a new cake to do. Now what I've done is I've put it onto a cake already. There we go. So this is our new, let me turn that round. There we go. This is our new scenery painting. There we go. Let's tip it so you can see it that way. There we go. All right. So this one is called Woodland Meadow, and it's going to be available on the 11th of March. So this is coming very, very soon. I have also painted it on a plaque. So I'm going to show you the plaque in a minute to give you an idea of what you can do if you don't want to do it onto a cake. But it is an opportunity to now have a go at painting some scenery as well as animals and all these other bits and pieces that we do on the cake school. We've had lots and lots of people doing beginners cocoa butter painting, and now they're all looking forward to doing something else. So we are starting to look at scenery, and then we are going to be introducing certificates, which we have already talked about on my gold member group. So I am going to just talk about that briefly in a second so that you hopefully understand what that's all about. I'm just going to show you this cake again, but I'm going to show you it flat so you can see what you can do if you want to do it flat rather than doing it on a cake. So you have an option here. So this is, there we go. So that's what it looks like flat. That's my practice run. That's the one with the mistakes that I can see maybe. Anyway, this is how you can practice it there. So if you want to have a go at doing scenery painting, for example, and the thought of doing it on a cake doesn't really appeal to you, then you will have the opportunity to be able to paint it flat on a, as long as it's painted on sugar paste. You obviously can't paint these on paper. Then it is an opportunity to do it just on a cake card. This is just a cake board that's been covered with a bit of sugar paste, and then you can have a go at painting that way. So we are now moving towards scenery. We do have more scenery cakes coming. The gold membership group have already seen some of them, but they are going to be coming out over the next few months. So this is the first one. This is the one for March. If you're looking at it going, gosh, there's absolutely no way I can ever paint that, I can promise you I can get you to paint it. So don't worry about that. I have lots of people who've just done the beginners cocoa butter painting course, and all of them have now said, I can't believe I can do this. So I can guarantee you I can get you to paint this. So if you are hovering and thinking, well, I'm not too sure about this, but you'd like to have a go at some of the painting things, even if it's just the painting things, then the silver membership might be for you. And in that case, that's £10 a month. And then you can have access to all my cake painting classes. And there are a lot of them. And there are many more coming this year. We're really working on the painting at the moment because I want to be able to build that side of it up as well. So there's lots and lots of content coming. But this is the first scenery one that is coming. So I mentioned a minute ago that I was just looking for a certificate, but I haven't got one nearby. The Beginners Cocoa Butter Painting Challenge that I set at the end of the year is now coming to an end. So we said we'd finish it around about the 15th of February. That's where we are. And that was a chance or an opportunity to kind of go, you've got 6 weeks to do the Beginners Cocoa Butter Painting class, which is this one here. So what we're doing is it is coming to an end in terms of the timed aspect of it, but obviously if you wanted to have a go at it at any time, or you are taking part in the challenge and you've not finished, the deadline doesn't mean you can't continue with the course. It means just carry on. The idea behind putting a date on the course was to try to stop all of those out there that like to procrastinate, and that includes me at times, by saying if you paint between the 1st of January and the 15th of February, you're going to get a certificate. And actually I think we've had something like nearly 30 people have done it. So it's been a huge number of people. Some have done it before, some have started for the first time. And I think a lot of people have found the benefit of during January, which can be quite a grim month, of being actually able to sit, learn something new, but actually enjoy it as well, because it is a really nice thing to do to get involved in painting. Because when you're painting, you can't do anything else. You can't be on your phone, and you are totally focused on what you're doing, and it is really good for you. So on the basis of that, and the fact that the students enjoyed so much having a goal and a certificate, we are now starting to do more certificates of completion, and we're starting to set them up across some of our other courses. So we're going to be introducing certificates of completion for our airbrushing, also for scenery painting. There will be one for that. There will be one for completing cats and dogs, for wildlife, and I said airbrushing, chocolate paste. There's going to be a variety of certificates. We also have beginners flower painting, and we also have what's the other one I was saying? Royal icing, of course, the lovely royal icing. Now, some of these certificates are going to be quite easy to obtain, but they will obviously be within a guided amount of time. And then some of them will be more tricky and will be spread out over an entire year. Because if I asked you to do the cats and dogs entire module, 6 paints within 6 weeks, you wouldn't like me at the end of it. So we're going to break it down step by step, and we're going to be starting all of this as soon as the beginners cocoa butter challenge is over. I'm going to be setting up new challenges for the students. So if that's something you would really like to get involved in, it is actually a really nice thing to do, to set a goal and go, oh right, yes, we're doing this and I've got 6 weeks to do it. Right, when am I going to do it? It does actually make you focus on the course content that you have access to and use it, because that's what I want you to do if you are part of this school, is to use the course content. It's I want you to actually progress and get to the end of the year and go, oh, I never thought I'd enjoy cake painting, or gosh, Swiss meringue buttercream, I never thought I'd do that. So we're pushing people in the direction of having a go at something and seeing how they get on, and then getting a certificate at the end of it. So there are lots of new certificates coming. It's all being broken down step by step, so you'll start to see them appear online shortly, on here, and obviously on my other channel, which is at Tracey Mann Cakes. You'll see plenty of things appearing on there as well. They'll also be coming out in the newsletters, which I will be putting out, which I haven't done for a while, but I will do, and then you'll be able to see exactly what's happening there. But the idea is to kind of move you along and give you a bit of a goal. And actually what we have found with this is that because lots of you have all been painting at the same time, you've all been talking to each other and going, oh yeah, I've done number 1 and 2, I've got 3 to go, yes, I've done 4, found number 2 really difficult. So it's been really interesting as well from my point of view, is watching the students talk to each other and work out where they are and what they're doing. And I think that's been really beneficial for this particular challenge. So if you would like to join me on the challenges, then the Cake School address is up there. It's $12.50 a month for gold membership, and that gives you access to everything. So all the painting, all the scenery painting, all the sugar craft classes, and also all the cupcake bouquets as well. So there is a lot of information there for you, and a Facebook group as well, which they are all chattering away amongst themselves about their challenges and various things. So it's a very nice community as well. It's a very positive community, and that's what I intend it to stay like. So that's what we're going to be doing there. So lots going on with the Cake School, which is good, because that's what we want to be doing. We want to be looking forward to doing things. So scenery painting obviously is coming, and the new challenges. So, and the cupcake bouquet next weekend. So obviously lots going on there. Now, because I'm not live as much at the moment, there is obviously more wheels turning in terms of what we can bring you on Let's Shop, because I think I've said before, or certainly said recently, that we're going to do slightly less Let's Shop so that we can give you newer content. So we are going to start looking at Let's Shop Cake Live now, and looking at some of the new bits and pieces that are coming out. So we have to get my list out here, because this is why I start getting confused. So if you go onto Let's Shop Cake Live, you will find that it opens up onto my website, which is Tracey Mann Cakes. So once you go onto there, you'll see Let's Shop Cake Live. If you click on it and then click the icon again, it will go through to the shop where all the items are that I'm going to show you today. So that's where you'll find everything. You will notice on the site there is little glimmers of coronation things have started to appear. So on the basis that we had these massive parties back on the Jubilee, the Platinum Jubilee last year, and now we are having a coronation, I have started to add some of the printable discs and bits and pieces onto the website. They're not all there yet, but some of them have started to appear. So do take time, if you are planning to do any particular event over coronation, to have a look at those, because I have done ones for cakes and I've done discs for cupcakes as well. So very similar to what we did for Platinum, but obviously it's now a coronation instead. So there will be some things there. And of course, don't forget the Imperial Crown. That will give you another opportunity to be able to use your Imperial Crown cookie cutter for those of you that did buy it. We will be doing the Imperial Crown cookie cutter will reappear. It's down, I think, as limited stock at the moment, but I am going to get some more made, because obviously we slowed up with what we had made. I think we only had like 3 left or something, but now we need to make a few more. So we'll get some more of those made, so that if anybody wants to make the crown, they can. And we had a question earlier in the week about where can they find the tutorial for making the Imperial Crown, and that is on YouTube. So my YouTube channel is at Tracey Mann Cakes, there it is. And you'll also find on there my demonstrations that I do on Patchwork Cutters Club. So I'm part of Patchwork Cutters Club, which is on Facebook. But once we've done that demo, I also upload it to my YouTube channel. So you will be able to find lots of cake painting videos on there. And we are going to have a little look at some of the patchwork cutters shortly, so that you will be able to see that as well. Before we move to patchwork cutters and the demonstration, because once I start, I won't be able to stop, if you know what I mean. I'm going to mention as well 2 other new products that we have got, 3 rather. One of them is Mother's Day is approaching. So we've always had discs in the past. We've got new ones this year. So these are the new Mother's Day discs. I'm going to bring them up close so you can see them. So these are the ones that go on cupcakes. So they peel back like so, and you can pop them onto cupcakes. So these have now appeared. Okay, I've gone for a slightly different design this year. So these are now live on the site. Okay. Feels weird talking about Mother's Day when it's Valentine's Day this weekend, but there we go. And then also we have got this kit that's come out this time, and this one is called the Golden Egg Kit. You're going to be thinking, what is she doing now? So I have got a limited edition, and they are limited edition, Golden Egg Kit. So I've got this extremely nice mould here. You can see it's all lovely and sort of crystallized, and you can see it sits flat on the bottom like that. So it's a 2-part mould. There we go, 2 parts. Sits together like that. Okay, now we've got this mould, and we've got a bag, a 500-gram bag of milk chocolate, and a Wonder Dust, the gold Wonder Dust, for you to be able to make your golden egg for Easter. So if you fancy making a golden egg, it's very straightforward. All you're going to do is melt your chocolate, going to pour it into the egg. In fact, what you can do is fill 1/2 completely, shake the 2 together, pop it in the fridge, keep turning it until the chocolate stops, and then you can dust it with the Wonder Dust, and you will have a very nice golden egg. This is a very detailed mould. I think it's very, very nice. I'm going to put it onto the other camera so you can have a little look for a second. You can see on there. So I think the gold is going to pick this up beautifully. So that is the Golden Egg Kit. There aren't very many of them available. They are limited edition only. So if you do want to have a go at it, then, as I say, there are only a limited number of these kits available. I just thought it was a nice idea. We'll see about the golden egg. Is that Willy Wonka or something? Maybe I'm on the... Maybe I'm thinking of that. Golden egg. Where's that from? It must be, yeah, it must be on that film. Anyway, the original one anyway. So there we go. So if you want to have a go at making yourself a large golden egg for this Easter, then there is a little kit there for you to be able to do that. But make it in milk chocolate, then just dust it in the Wonder Dust, no cocoa butter, just get a dusting brush out once it comes back up to room temperature. So when you've taken it out of the fridge and dust it, it will look absolutely beautiful. So there you go, very nice little kit there for you. Right, let me move this out of the way. Okay, now we've got lots of other new bits and pieces, but what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at what we did on Patchwork Cutters last week, so that you can see what we did with our bears. So we've had very, very good feedback on our bears, which have been excellent. For those of you that don't know what on earth I'm talking about, I will bring them forward now so you can see them. There they are. So these 2 little ones were done on Patchwork Cutters last week, and they were, so the ones I demonstrated on Let's Shop were these ones here. Let's bring them all in. There we go. So these were our original bears. So this is Bear with the Heart. This is the large one, because of course, you know what I'm like, there is now a small one. So I'm going to run through what we've got here so that you can see. So we used Patchwork Cutters on here. This one here is called the Rose Garland. Now we do have that patchwork cutter in stock. We don't have this one, which is Magnolia Rose, which is the small rose that's in that particular kit. But this one here is called Rose Garland. It's the smallest one that's in the pack. So if you wanted to have a go at doing this one, then we do have the patchwork cutter for that. We've also now just had a delivery from FPC, and the bow moulds have now arrived again, because we did get very short of those. So if you want to make bows, they have this brilliant mould. This is it. This is the bow mould. I love this mould. I use this all the time. It's fabulous. And this is, it's got a polka dot one, and then you can just pick whichever one. That one is that one. That one is that one. You can just pick whichever bow you want. That's the smaller one there. So lots of different size bows on there. I still have this mould to this day, and it is out and I use it all the time. So it is a mould that I do use a lot of. So this particular one, I'm just trying to find my little bear, there he is, has been made in large. I'm just running across the other side of the room to pick up the one I want. No, I'm not. I'm running back across the other side of the room. So this is the large bear. Okay, and because he was so popular, I've now bought out the mini version of him. So the mini version of the little bear does fit on top of a cupcake. Okay, so it's exactly the same. It's the same procedure, but he fits on top of a cupcake. So I'm going to bring a cupcake in so you can see. All right, so he will sit on top of there. He will also fill treat boxes. We've been through this before, haven't we? We've talked about filling treat boxes, not only with large items, but with smaller items as well. So if you fancy having a go at making a little bear, then we have a little bear on there now. He's listed as a mini. Now, when you go to the site, you'll see I've been as obvious as I possibly can and written the words large next to the picture or mini. So that's to help you make sure you don't order the wrong one, because the pictures are very similar. So I thought, right, I need to do something here drastic. So you'll find on there, it does say the word large or mini. So large is this size. That's normal cookie size, 7 centimetres approximately for most of our large cookies. And then we have mini, which is this one, which goes on cupcakes, and this one is more like 3 centimetres. So you can see there's quite a sizable difference between the two of them. But this one is very, very sweet. If you wanted to make little bears, then you would prefer to do something smaller rather than making the larger bears. They are good fun to make. But I am going to show you another one. I'm so sorry. I've just read someone's comment about what am I doing to you. I'm about to make it a whole lot worse because I've got some other cookie cutters coming up, which I'm going to show you shortly, that you can have a go at. I'm sure you're going to love them. In fact, I know you're going to love them because I love them already. In fact, they've turned out to be my favourite cookie cutter ever, I think, this particular one. So the bear one here is the heart one. This will also work really well for, I tried to show on here that not only can you use it for Valentine's Day, but if you wanted to make some Mother's Day type ones as well. So you could do ones with mum written on here if you wanted to. You could use some of the sweet stamps maybe to push the word mum in there, or some of the small letters, or put a flower on it and then put it in a little box, and then you can sell it or give it away for Mother's Day or birthdays even. They don't have to be for Valentine's Day. It is a bear holding a heart, so it can be used for anything at all. So I think this works out to be very versatile, and as I say, this is the new little one, and he's got a very tiny little bow on here, and that little bow came off this one, which is Tiny Decorations, which is another one of the must-have moulds that everyone must have in their possession, because it does have the little tiny bows in there. There's 3 of them there, plus the big one. So this mould here is brilliant. And this is going to come into play shortly when I show you one of the new ones that I have done. Okay, right, so we're going to move that out of the way. Let's put my little bears, actually I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll put my bears over here. And then we'll start looking at what we're going to do today. So we're going to bring the cocoa butter in. So we're obviously going to do some painting of some description. That does not look like the most reliable candle I've ever seen in my life. She says, looking at it thinking, is that going to survive the entire life? Well, I'm not sure, to be honest, but there we go. We'll light it anyway. And then there might be a panic if it goes out, but we'll get it lit for now. So this is a chrome food warmer. You buy these on Amazon, we don't sell them. And then we put on top of here a metal paint palette, which you will find on our website. So this is a metal paint palette that gets hot, and because it gets hot, the cocoa butter that's here, so this is what cocoa butter looks like, that will start to melt, and then we'll be able to use these dusting colours here to be able to do some painting. So we're kind of relying on that heat underneath there. Kelly will be laughing at me if she's live watching at the moment, because she knows I'll be rummaging under my desk looking for a candle just in case it goes out, which is very typical me, I have to say. And knowing me, I've taken them all home because I thought it was a good idea. I know I've got one here somewhere. Oh, I've seen them, even better. Not that I don't trust myself, but I have a whole bag of these now. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it now. Oh, look, good job I said that, wasn't it? It's gone out. Let's take that out. Gosh, I'm glad I changed that now. Put that one in. Put new one in. I find I go through one tea light when I do a whole paint. When I mean a whole paint, I mean something like the scenery painting that I've just done. So, doesn't take much. Let's get that lit. There we go. I'm glad I checked that. Okay, so that's then going to get hot and then it will start to melt. There we go. Right, let's move that out of the way. Before we get too carried away with our cookie cutters, we are going to have a little look at patchwork cutters this morning. So patchwork cutters, I'm always talking about patchwork cutters and the lovely Marion. So what I've done today, I'm going to have a look at this set, which is the elephants. Now the elephants is on the website and it consists, ignore that one because I've nicked that from another one. These are the 3 elephants. So they're quite sort of, I always find they're quite tricky to see, but when you press them out onto sugar paste, you can see them really clearly. So this is the cute little elephant set. It's very sweet. It's a really sweet little set. So what I've done is I've taken the smaller elephant there, this one here, and I've put him down. So all I've done is taken some sugar paste and I have pressed my patchwork cutter into my sugar paste and created my little pattern. And then I borrowed, from the spring set, which is part of this set here. So we've had this set on before. I borrowed this little cutter here and I've just put a little flower there. Now the elephant himself, he's very cute. That's a cupcake, so that's cupcake size. So he will go on a cupcake. I've made this a little bit bigger because I wanted to include the flower. So that's why it's a little bit bigger than it was before. So that's the spring set, this one, and this one is the little elephants, 3 little elephants. Okay, so things are starting to melt over here, which is good news. Let's turn that round. The other one I showed on patchwork cutters actually, and while we wait for the cocoa butter to set, is this one called Floral Side Design. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a clever trick here. So when you look at patchwork cutters, sometimes it can be quite difficult to see what the pattern is. If you put your finger in some icing sugar and you run it over the top, the pattern comes out. You can see it much clearer than if you just looked at it and went, oh, I don't really know what's going on here. So little trick for you here, just put some icing sugar on there and then you'll be able to see what the pattern is. And I used this to paint across a heart earlier in that week. And again, that live is also on my YouTube channel and on Patchwork Cutters as well. So if you do want to have a look at that particular live for painting this one, then go and have a look on there because it is a really, really nice patchwork cutter, this one. Okay, so this one is called Floral Side Design. Right, that's nearly melted now. I've cleaned my brushes. They're all looking lovely today. So we talked about paint brushes in the past. So we sell sets of 5 paint brushes, or you can buy them individually. I have somehow managed to end up with, goodness knows how many 3s at the moment. I don't quite know how I've managed that, but I have. Let's get rid of those. So this is, they're all numbered and you can see the numbers I use quite a bit. In fact, these brushes here are, have been with me now for quite a period of time. I don't change my brushes very often unless they're worn out, and on the basis I'm painting continuously, I haven't changed them. They just keep going, so they're really good. This is 0, 1, 2 and 3, so it's all down, obviously down to size, and in the set of 5 there is a 0, 0 as well, so that one will do an even sort of thinner paint. You can see how small the end is on that one, so it will go down even smaller. So we're going to just have a look at, we'll have paintbrush 1 because we haven't got a particularly huge area. There is one colour I have forgotten to put in here, which I will just quickly grab. So we do a cocoa butter beginners cake painting kit as well. So if you want the tray and lots of dusting colours and some cocoa butter and all the paint brushes, we do have a kit with it all included. And it's a brilliant way to get started because you'll actually have a lot of bits and pieces to get going. I'm going to just put a bit of icing sugar under this because I did this yesterday and I had to literally unglue it off my board this morning because it was stuck. Oh no. And I turned up. That's typical me, isn't it? Right, here we go. So that's going to be that elephant there. So you can do elephants in any colour. We will go the traditional route this morning and do a grey one. We're going to just take a paintbrush, dip it into the white, start to mix some white up. And then what we'll do is grab a tiny few grains of black, nothing too drastic. We'll make ourselves a light grey colour. Kelly used to have an elephant when she was little, and it was, I've still got it actually, of course I have, and it was pink. So you can always do a pink one if you particularly want to. So I've got myself kind of like a light grey colour, and we'll just go over it to start with. We don't really need to worry about shading or anything. We're just going to paint it over. Now it's got a tiny bit warmer in here, as it has been extremely cold in here. Hopefully this will go on really quite nicely. I've done some paints in here where the minute I put the paint on the sugar paste, it's sort of set immediately, which is a bit of a nightmare for blending. But it's warmed up a little bit today, so we're okay. So we just go around his ears. So you can do any background colour you want. I went for pale blue. Just thought it was quite nice. Quite a nice colour. And we'll just take hold of our... So somebody could be sitting there going, why didn't you just cut it out in sugar paste? Well, number one, I haven't cut it out. I've embossed it because I'm going to paint it. And you can do a lot more with it, I think, if you emboss and paint it than you can if you just cut it out. So that's why I've done it like this. And it's fun. Of course it's fun. So just pop that over there like that. How's that coming out? There we go. Go. Like so. And then whilst that's drying, we'll let that dry. I'm just going to take my bit of kitchen roll and I'm just going to clean my brush. So I'm just going to dip it into the cocoa butter and just twist it like so, just to clean it all up. And then I'm just going to make a little bit of yellow here, tiny bit of white in it because I don't want it to be too strong. So a little bit of yellow. And we're just going to paint that flower there, randomly yellow. It's going to stand out. It's going to be very bright, which will be good. That'll look quite fun, I think. And we're going to give that elephant, he's going to hold it for us. That's what he's going to do. So we're going to grab some of this moss green colour. Now, moss green isn't in the cocoa butter kit. It is something you need to buy separately, but I normally use between 4 and 5 different greens, and obviously I can't dominate the entire kit with green. So we've included woodland green and spring green, but we also use moss green a lot, and we also use gooseberry green a lot. And gooseberry green actually is going to come into its own with scenery painting, so you're going to find that one in there quite a bit. So I'm going to just take this and just put a line down there, and I'm going to give that a bit of a stem, and he can hold that, can't he? Like so. Okay, he's holding his flower. We'll give him a leaf as well, shall we? We'll just do that freehand. And another one there, little one. Okay. You can do all sorts of these pictures, and you can. Right, let's grab some of the dark. Okay, so we'll darken the grey up a little bit more now. And then what we'll do is we'll go under his chin. I'll make it a little bit darker in there. And we'll grab a brush and just soften that down a little bit. Okay. And then perhaps we'll make his feet a bit darker maybe, just so he's got a bit of contrast going on. And then a little bit in there as well. That's it. And then we'll just do a little bit around the top of his ears. He's not difficult to paint. He's very quick to paint. See, doesn't take very long, does he? A little bit more around his trunk maybe. He certainly is a bit quicker than the elephant I painted the other day, which I have to say will be advanced. So I was nearly in tears over it. So yes, there is an elephant paint coming, and my goodness me, it's a challenge. But anyway, it's turned out very well. But it's one of those ones that's a bit of a process to get to, but you'll get there. I managed it eventually, so you'll be fine. Okay, there he is. He's very sweet. Now we're going to just take hold of our brush again and just mix up a little bit black. Now you can either do this with a paintbrush or you can do it with a dotting tool. So we've had these dotting tools here before. You can just take your brush and just pop it inside the little area that's marked out for you. So just put your brush down and just dab it and let it fill up the gap. There you go, see, not too difficult. Like so. Whilst that's drying, I'm gonna just put a few marks on this. We'll turn this into maybe a little pansy. I'm a bit obsessed with pansies at the moment, which you'll see shortly. Maybe turn that into a little pansy there as well. There we go. So he's very easy to do, and you can add all sorts of bits and pieces to him as well, or her, whichever. You can add in, if you wanted to take this mould here, for example, and put a little bow on his head, you would just go and take hold a bit of modelling paste rather than sugar paste. Would work with something like this, but this is the tiny decoration mould. There's a very wee little bow in there that's tiny. So when you pop them into the mould, you then just take the excess off so that you just have what is left inside of there, and then you use the flexibility of the mould to then be able to get these tiny little things out. So the sugar paste, or rather the modelling paste you're using, is very important, and we are recommending that you use Saraceno as far as possible to help you be able to get these out, because otherwise if you try and do it with some of the cheaper brands of sugar paste, it's much more difficult. I use Mona Lisa or Massachusetts sugar paste, which actually works okay in these moulds, but if you don't and you're using one of the other ones, then I am recommending you use this, and it is on the site as well. So we take hold of some water. We'll just grab a little bit of water. I'm just waiting for the eyes to dry at the moment, and then we'll pop a little bit of water on there, and then we can pop a little bow on top like so. So we just added to it from the Tiny Decorations mould. Okay, and then if you wanted to then do some little dots on him, we'll just take the brush, just clean that up for a second. So we'll make some white paint here next to this. So we've got grey there, so we need to make the white over there. Make sure it's quite thick. There we go. Take hold. So this is one of the dotting tools. Now the dotting tools have little tiny balls at the end of them. They're really tiny, some of them, and they're great for doing dots. So all you do is put your dotting tool into the paint, and then you can literally do the tiniest of spots ever, but they are also very accurate, so you do actually get nice round dots rather than getting sort of splodges, which you can sometimes get with a paintbrush. And then I'm just going to take it and just put a tiny dot in his eye, both eyes, so it brightens it up a little bit. There we go. And then the elephant doesn't look like he's half asleep or staring into space. Now to make sure he looks like he's sitting on the ground, we're going to just do a tiny bit of shadow. So we'll just take a little bit more grey, and we'll just come along the bottom here, and we'll just put a little line there like so. I'm going to take hold of this one, bring that down. There we go. And there is your elephant. So he's very sweet, he's very cute, and he's very easy to do. So if you are doing something like, you could easily do this on a heart-shaped cookie maybe, or you could do it as a little topper, cupcake topper. Without the flower, he does fit onto a cupcake. With the flower, he's a little bit too big. Don't forget, I've added that flower from the spring set, but he is quite nice to do if you want to just do a quick paint. Maybe you've got a lot to do, maybe you're doing a baby shower or something, and you've got a lot of things that you want to do, then these elephants, and there are 3 different ones in the pack, are all standing in slightly different positions, so that would be quite nice to do. Okay, so that's Patchwork Cutters elephants, and then I showed you the floral side design one as well, which again, if you want to watch a video on that one, then go to my YouTube channel and you will find it on there, the same video that shows you the bears with the hearts garland on that I showed you a minute ago. Okay, right, let's put that to one side for a moment and let's move on. Let us move on to some of the new cookie cutters. So we're going to look at the new bear. So we've got a new bear come out. Of course we have. You know what I'm like. So let's just clear the decks a bit so I've got a bit of space. Make sure I've got nothing in my way particularly. There we go. Right, I'm going to do a swap now, so we're going to take the elephant off there. There he is. is. I'm going to pop him over there. We'll take photos of everything at the end so you'll get to see what everything looks like. I'm just going to put my patchwork cutters away because I'm a bit of a monkey for not. And we're going to introduce you to this one. So this one is the birthday cake bear. So he is a new one that we've got coming out today. He is lovely. I'm going to show you the whole process going through so that you'll be able to see how it works. So we have a large one and we have a small one. They are available separately. I know we put things together in packs sometimes, and there is a reason for that, and that is literally because of the way they're printed. So I know it's very frustrating sometimes when people say, can't I just have the small envelope? Well, unfortunately, sometimes we can't do that. So sometimes we can split them and sometimes we can't. So these ones we have been able to split. So we have a mini version of it and we have a large version of it as well. And I'm going to show you now how to put this together because it's a very nice cookie cutter, this one. So I've already made one. So there's my cookie. So we're going to do it on a large one, and then I'm going to show you the ones I did at the end so that you will have an opportunity to see how this works. So these are available separately, and we'll make that clear now so that you know. All right, and we will start with this colour here, which is called Autumn Leaf. Excuse my messy pot, it's been around forever. So we've got there, so this is called Autumn Leaf, which I think is the best colour for bears, personally. And I've got some pre-dyed sugar paste, which I am going to roll out. I've actually managed to do that in advance today. So I've left my cocoa butter to one side because we're going to come back to that in a minute. So I'll pop that up there. So I've made my cookie. We have a vanilla cookie recipe that is available to buy. It's on a laminated sheet. So if you do want to get that and use that, otherwise use any recipe that you like. It's entirely up to you. So we're going to start by rolling this out. Okay. I've also put a slight twist on this because there's been a lot of this kind of cartoon type theme stuff that's around at the moment. So I've painted this one up differently to the other one, and you'll see in a minute why I've done it, and it will make a bit more sense, I think. So I'm going to take hold of a plastic side scraper and pop that on like so. Take hold of my cookie cutter, press it down like so, give it a wiggle. So it cuts through, and then we'll just take the excess off, and then we'll take our cutter and we'll turn it upside down like so. And then what we need to do then is just press down into the mould to get all the indents that are in there. Okay, and there's quite a few on this one. So I'm going to press down like so. Make sure we've got them all. There we go. We're going to turn that back round. And there is our bear. There he is. Okay. Now, next thing I'm going to do is take this paste again, but I'm going to add some white to it. So I'm going to make it a little bit paler because I want him to have a cake that's different colour to him. So I'm going to do 50-50 autumn leaf and white. So we'll take that and we'll just knead those two together. So we're going to get a slightly different colour. We'll put those onto the cookie in just a second, like so. Give it a bit of a knead. Get that through. Okay, let's put you over there just for a second. Back into the icing sugar and give it a roll, like so. Take this, and what we're going to do here is we're going to just lay this on top of the, sorry it's a bit sticky, let me just put some icing sugar down. Just going to lay this onto the cookie cutter again and just press it down around the birthday cake. So this is what it is in the middle here. It's a birthday cake, just in case anyone's thinking, what is this? It's a birthday cake. There we go. Okay, so we're now going to lift that off carefully, turn it over, and then you can see it's a birthday cake. All right, so we're going to cut it out. So we're going to use a cutting wheel, and we're going to come down the side, round his feet to the bottom there. Let's take that piece out, along the bottom, round the top, and then down the side here. Around. There we go. Let's take that away. You can just trim up any bits at the end, although his hands are going to be near enough there, so it doesn't really matter too much. That's the shape you're going to end up with. I'll just turn that around a bit so I can see it. There we go. Okay, so that's his cake. It looks very weird, but it's his cake. All right. So we are going to take hold of some royal icing. We need to do that. Let me find a pot. Put a little bit of water in there. Grab a bit of royal icing. So we need royal icing to stick the sugar paste to the cookie. I've just got to find my brush, which is here. Just put a little bit of royal icing with water into my pot so that I end up with a nice sticky glue. Nothing too wet. If you make it really wet, then obviously the problems that come next is that the cookie gets wet and then it gets a bit soft. So we just want royal icing that's kind of a bit like this. Okay, tiny bit more royal icing there just so it's not too wet. Okay, I'm chucking it everywhere now, aren't I? Messy. I was doing well up to that point. There we go, let's pop that over there. Right, let's bring our bear back in. Okay, and we're going to just take hold of our royal icing. I'm going to stick him down. I've seen somebody do this with piping gel recently. The only thing with piping gel is that piping gel doesn't hold, whereas royal icing will set. So just beware if you do it with piping gel, because it potentially will slide off. So I wouldn't do it with piping gel. I would always stick with royal icing. And then we're going to pop our bear on there, like so. Okay, and then we'll take our water. So now we've just got water on its own. And we're going to take a brush. Not a cocoa butter painting brush, definitely not. And we're just going to paint this area here, like so. Okay, and we're going to pop that on there like that. So it looks a bit weird at the moment, but it will come. Don't worry, it's all tested. I know what I'm doing. I know it's hard to believe it, but I do. Okay, so we've done that. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to go back to the teddy bear colour. This is why I've got to be careful I don't end up with the wrong colour. Okay. Now, last week whenever I was on last, I showed you how to do the hands by cutting them out. But I've actually found it's quicker and easier if you just take two ball size, so to put them in your hands and then roll them at the same time, and if they feel like the same size, they're probably fine. I know that sounds a bit of an inexact science, but believe you me, it works. Put a little bit of water there and there, pop that down there like so, and then just press them down, and then that will hold. He'll be then holding his cake. Okay, like so. That's easy enough, isn't it? Now his feet, again, you can do exactly the same if you want to. If you want to bring his feet forward. I don't think I did on this one. Let me have a look what I did. No, I did. Did I? So this the voice of self-doubt here, but I'm going to make these flatter. I don't want these to be standing as far forward as his hands. So we'll do the same, roughly the same sort of size, I guess. And then we'll put them on. I'm going to flatten them down actually before I put them on, and then we'll just fill them in. There we go. So they'll be flatter than the hands. Oops. If you're unsure about this, you can cut them out, okay? So there's no reason why you can't cut them out. I'm just showing you a slightly quicker way of doing them. There we go. All right, so he's got all his bits and pieces on so far. We've just got to do his... Oh, no, I didn't do his mouth on this one. Okay, so we'll leave this one separately. Right, so let's have a look at him. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint his eyes. So he has different eyes to the other bear. So he has much bigger eyes. So we're going to start by painting the white in the centre of the eye. So I'm just going to turn it round so I can see it, and I'm going to change brush actually because this one is too small. I'm going to do it with paintbrush number 1. Just check it's got no yellow in it, otherwise he's going to look like he's got jaundice or something. Okay. I'm going to just paint, let's turn it round. So we're just going to paint his eye to start with. So white, just plain white dusting colour and cocoa butter, so nothing unusual going on at the moment. Same on the other one, but I need to get these dry, so if I do these now, then at least they'll be dry when we come to finish them off. There we go. Okay, let's turn that around. And then whilst that's drying, I'm going to take hold of some red sugar paste. So I've got a bit of red here, just any sugar paste is fine. I'm going to just take hold of a piece and I'm just going to roll it out. So I'm going to make the filling on the birthday cake. So I don't want this to be too thick. I want this to be sort of fairly thin, about something like that. And it doesn't need to be equal either. So if it's a little bit sort of up and down, that's fine because it's a birthday cake, so it doesn't matter. So this is where the filling is on the birthday cake. So that's going to go in there. And we're going to take our piece of red sugar paste and we're just going to lay that along the line like so. I'll just cut it off with the wheel, hopefully, she says. Where's my knife? Your silly idea was to do it with that. And then we'll do the same with the one above it. So we'll just going to cut that down a bit. There we go. We'll pop that in there. There's a little gap, you see, so it does fit in quite well. Despite me looking like I'm juggling with a little bit, it does fit in really well. Okay, so that's the filling on our cake. All right, so we've done that bit. Whilst we've got the red out here as well, we're going to make a little bow to go on top of the bear. So here we go. Let's bring that down a bit. So we'll go back to our bow mould and we'll go for this bow here. So we will take our red paste and we'll just pop that into there. So remember what we've said, Saraceno will be much easier to use than normal sugar paste. Some sugar pastes don't work very well in these moulds. I'm using Massaccino, so it's quite good actually. It does seem to work okay in there. We've got ourselves a little bow now. So again, I'm going to actually stick that on with a bit of royal icing because I want that to stick. I don't want it to fall off. And we'll put it right in the middle this time. So we'll pop that there. Like so, bring it forward a little bit. Okay, and of course we can use then our dotting tool if we want to, and we can put some little dots onto our bow so we can decorate it like this. I'm a big fan of the dotting tools, am I not? They seem to be out on every occasion at the moment, so any opportunity to get them out, I'm there. Okay, all right, that's good. I'm just looking for one more colour that I should have got out. Let me just find it. There it is. That's good. Let's pop this colour in here for me. Okay, right. Let's do the cherries. So on this one here, you're going to see there's some cherries there. All right, so they're very small, but we're going to use these to decorate our birthday cake. So I've cut these out in advance somewhere. She says, what did I do with them? Oh yeah, here they are. There we go. Only because they're very, very fiddly. There we go. Little tiny cherries. Let's turn that one over so you can see what they look like there. All right, so they're nice and small. So we're going to move you over there for a second. We'll bring this in and we'll pop them on here. So you can hear they've sort of set because I left them lying around to do that. Let's turn that round. So they're very small, so I can appreciate, obviously you might not be able to see absolutely everything at the moment. I've made them in white, so what I'm going to do is just take hold of some red food colouring, some dusting colour and cocoa butter, and I'm just going to paint the cherries at the bottom. So a little bit fiddly, a little bit small at the moment. You will get a good view, don't worry, later, even if you can't see these brilliantly at the moment. So all I'm doing, now you could say, well, why didn't I just do them red in the first place? I could have done that, but I have white modelling paste in my hand. I've got red dusting colour next to me. I can just paint them. It won't take me a minute to do them. I don't mind. And also, they don't look as flat, I think. When they're made out of sugar paste, without any paint on them, I think they look quite flat. So there we go. I'm going to pick those up so you can just see those there, if you can see what's going on. Okay, but obviously we need to paint the stalks, so we're going to do that with moss green. So we will just switch colours, just clean the brush up. I'll go to the moss green. Thought I'd like some cherries on my birthday cake, you see. That's the idea, or that's what I thought. Anyway, so you can decorate these however you want. When you can see the principle of this and what I'm doing, you will go, oh, I get it. I understand now what this is all about, and then you can decide how you want to decorate the birthday cake. So the idea with the bear in the birthday cake is that you can make your bear and then you can decorate that birthday cake any way you want to. And obviously there's so many different ways you can decorate a birthday cake. The world's your oyster a little bit with it. You can change the colour of it. Perhaps you'd like to do a nice big chocolate cake or something. In that case, you could do that. There we go. This one is having cherries. There we go. All right. So that's come from Tiny Decorations, which is this mould here, which is the one I'm always going on about, saying this is essential kit. It is brilliant, this mould. I've used it on literally everything. So on here, for example, if you wanted to put like a little heart maybe on top of the cake, or a little flower, there's 3 flowers there. There's roses. Perhaps you'd like a cascade of roses coming down the cake. Then you've got the little rose there. You could do some beaded piping if you wanted to. So if you fancied having, you know, this line here as beaded, you could use this one here. There's a little butterfly if you particularly want to put a butterfly on there, or there's some sort of, I don't know what these are. These look like sort of very decorative arch type sort of decorations, but you could use that as well. So you could do all sorts of different things from here. This mould here, very good for this particular project. Okay, so we put Teddy there for the moment. I'll bring him back in. Right, let's get, what did I do with that icing? There we go. Right, so for this particular cake, I'd have decided, actually I won't decorate the cake just yet. I'll tell you why, because I will probably smudge it the minute I do that. So I'm going to leave that till last. We'll do that last. We'll do the eye next. Let's do that. So I've got some petal blue here. Again, that's also part of the cocoa butter kit. So we'll take hold of the petal blue and we'll just mix some up. Might just put a tiny bit of white in there, but I really want this to be really quite blue. And then I'm going to use, which I should have checked before I went live, but luckily I can see it, is this tool here. Now this is a bigger ball tool, so there's a small end and a large end here. So I'm going to just take the larger end and put it into the paint. You can see it goes in like that. And then very carefully, I'm going to press down in the centre of the bear. My hand's shaking a little bit. Oh no! There we go. Okay, so he's got the eyes there, so we'll leave those for the moment and let that set. Whilst that's setting, we'll clean our brush up again. We're still using paintbrush number 1 at the moment. And we're going to go round to the black. Okay. And we're just going to mix up a little bit more black paint because we need a bit to do this bit. So I am using paintbrush 1, which I actually get on quite well with, but if you want to use something a bit thinner, then you can obviously change that. So we're going to kind of replicate this comic book type look that's going at the moment. So we're just going to go round the bear with some black lines, but they're going to be quite thin and right to the edge as well. So be careful, don't make them great big sort of tram lines because we don't want that. We want them to be quite nice and thin, and they are kind of quite broken up as well. I'm going to have to bring this one a little bit more towards me so I can see what I'm doing. Now, see, you don't need to do this if you don't want to. I'm just showing you a different way of decorating these bears. So if you want to do it this way, great. If you don't, that's fine too. All right, just lots of different ways of doing things. All right, let's go around this way. Obviously, I'm doing this one in a bit more of a rush than I did the other one, so I'll probably whip this one away at the end and show you the one I did properly with a bit of time on my hands. Right, there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to follow around the edge of the bear with this line, sort of broken line. Around his ear. Am I still on screen? Yes, I am, just about. Sometimes I'm so busy painting I forget to actually see if I'm back on screen or not. I'm going to just put a line in there just to fill his ears. So we'll just go around here. Again, you don't have to do this bit if you don't want to. You might like the look of it when it's done. I'm pretty confident you will. And you can just copy it then, can't you, and have a go yourself. So it's just lots of different lines, long lines, short lines. Into the ear. Like so. Let's turn it round. A bit more paint. Oh, it's got darker all of a sudden. There we go. I think I must have had a little bit of white on my brush. Okay, and down here. And then we'll come across his face. Now he has got a line there, so you can go just kind of inside that line. It'll stop you going too far out, won't it? And then we'll paint his nose, just as we did with the other one. Getting ready to see the surprise cake reveal. Let's turn that round again, and then what we'll do is we'll obviously have to make him smiley because it's his birthday. A nice big smile. There we go. And then we'll just go around the outside edge. Tiny tricky bit coming up because obviously you want to be making sure you get that face right. So make sure you do this bit last because you've had a practice by then. There we go. And then I'm going to just put a line round from the edge of his eye round to the base. I'm not going to fill in the whole eye because I think if you start doing that, it looks like they've got goggles on or they've had a difficult night. So I think it's easier just to do from that part there down and across there. Just leave part of that white open. It looks better. Right, whilst we're waiting, the blue seems to be dry now, so we'll take the other end of this ball tool and we'll go into the black now, and then we're going to go into the centre. I've got to make sure I don't shake doing this. Okay, like so, and then we'll do the other one. I think I've done it exactly. Yeah, I have. Just fill that in, make sure it's, there you go. All right, we'll let that dry again and we'll come back to that. Right, now we've got some tiny little hearts from the Valentine's sprinkles, which I've got these here. So even though they're listed as Valentine's sprinkles, you can use them for literally anything. You know what I'm like. I'm going to just put a little bit of royal icing there and there, just on his cheeks, and we'll put little hearts on there. One there, one there. We're going full Teddy love here, aren't we? Okay, and then I'll take this brush again that's got the black on it, and we'll just do some eyelashes up here. Let's turn it around this way, and then we'll do some this way. Turn it back. All right, now we're going to come back to the white on that now. So let's, oh, we've got one more bit to do on the black. So we've got to come across here. Forgot the cake in the middle then. So we're going to come across this bit here. And then we're going to go under the filling. So we're going to just take a line and go underneath that filling there. Please don't make these lines really thick, because if you make them really thick, they don't look very nice. So keep them as light as you can. Luckily, we don't have to do them too straight, which is great. And I'll turn it round when you do the other side. Don't try and lean over the top. I've got the shakes today. What's the matter with me? There we go. All right. Still haven't got your cake finished though, have you? We're going to decorate your cake in a second. Right, so we're going to turn that around now. I'm going to face it in the way I would be decorating it. So I have got some royal icing in a bag with piping nozzle number 2, and all I'm going to do now is make a chocolate drip. Would you believe it, of all things? I'm going to make a drip cake. So I'm going to start on, let's start this side. I'm going to start pushing my icing down my cake, or down my cookie, across here. We have another one there. Okay, so we've got a drip now. And then I'm going to just take my icing across here, like so, and I'm just going to infill that. So I'm going to turn that round my way now. So it's going across like so. It'll actually settle quite quickly. You can see why I didn't do this till last, because you can see where my arms and hands would be ending up, which would be in the cake. Okay, turn it round. Then I'm going to take hold of some of Kelly's white sprinkles. So we all know these, don't we? Little Kelly sprinkles. Just trying to find one that's open. Oh, there we go. I knew I've got an open one here somewhere. And whilst it's still wet, so make sure you do this while it's still wet, we're going to take these little sprinkles and we're just going to pop them onto our cake. Like so. There we go. And then I'm going to take my little cherries and I'm going to pop those on. I'm going to lay those on very carefully because obviously I don't want to smudge them. Like so. Alright, and then we need to go back and just finish it off the white that we've got here. So again, back to the dotting tool, the smallest end of the dotting tool. And we're going to put, so I've just got these sprinkles in my way. Let me move those out of the way. I'm going to put the littlest dot I can get away with. There we go. In his eye to brighten his eye up. Like that. And then I'm going to put a dot on the little heart as well. Maybe a bit more. And then I'll put a dot on his nose. Because all these little dots, they really do help brighten up the whole thing. Okay, right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you, oh, I could show you this one. Let me see if I can pick this one up. All right, let's put that under there like that. And then you can have a proper look at it and see what I've done. So that is the birthday cake bear. So I'm quite pleased with this one. I'm quite pleased with how it's turned out. I think it's a really lovely, adaptable bear. So it's very similar to the heart one. So it is a different looking bear. It is one that's got his eyes open, whereas the other one is just a single eye. So if you fancy doing one that's a little bit more different, then this is going to look really lovely in one of the little boxes. Do you remember we did the little boxes that go with the bears? And we have now got white boxes as well as red boxes. So we've got some new boxes that have arrived as well. So if you wanted to do those for a birthday or something else, and then obviously you can change the bear. So you can make the bear grey if you wanted to do a grey bear, or if you wanted to do a much darker brown bear, or perhaps you wanted to do a chocolate cake, you could do a brown chocolate cake. You don't have to paint around the outside edge like I've done. You can just leave it as is. It's entirely up to you. Now I've done 2 of these. I'm going to show you the other one. So I'm going to just swap the one I've just done over here so I don't end up knocking it. And these are the 2 ones that I did before. So we have got the large bear and the mini bear. So the mini bear is obviously suitable for cupcakes again, or just a smaller bear. And then there's the large one. So the large one is roughly 7 centimetres and the small one is roughly 3 centimetres. So it is a little bit shorter. They are separate at the moment. So I have got them on the website as Birthday Bear Large or Birthday Bear Mini. So just keep an eye on that when you're ordering because they are listed. You've got to be very careful when you're picking them that you get the right one or both or whatever it is that you're doing. So the smaller version of it, I just used another one of the bows from the Tiny Decoration mould. I only used 1 lot of cherries instead of 2, but you could add candles, you can add different sprinkles. As I say, you can change the drip to a pink drip. There are lots and lots of different things that you can do with this mould. So there are loads and loads of different ideas. And it's a birthday one, which means that, you know, you can keep using it all year round. So if I show you the difference between this one and then the little one we've got, those are the 2 different moulds. So they are 2 totally different teddies. Obviously you've got the one with the heart and then you've got the one with the birthday cake. This one's got slightly different eyes to this one. So there is a difference between the 2 of them. I want to make sure that you can see that there is a difference between 2. I did again do the comic book style work on this and just sort of went round the little dots and everything in black. But again, you can just do whatever you want. You don't have to spend loads and loads of time doing things like that. If you wanted to put it onto a cake, then what you'd have to do is cut it out. You'd have to press the decorations onto there and then put it onto the cake. So if you try to emboss this straight onto a cake, it's not going to work. You are going to have to cut it out and then put it onto a cake, and yes, then it would be absolutely fine, but you would need to do it as a separate cutout, because the cookie is designed so that if you wanted to just keep these plain, in other words, you didn't want to decorate them, you would still have a teddy cookie, so you'd be able to see everything. It also helps lining things up as well when you're putting things together. So that's it. I need a Goldilocks one now. You never know. You never know. All right, so that's the new teddy cookie cutter. So I hope you like that. I hope that you will feel quite inspired by that. I loved it. The minute it turned up, I was that happy with it. I thought this is like the best thing ever, this. So there you go. And of course that's not it, is it? Of course it isn't. So I'm going to show you a couple of other ones now that we've now got that have come out that are new. So I'm going to just move a few bits and pieces out of the way. These won't take quite as long to do as that teddy. I thought I'll get the teddy done, and then at least we'll have a bit more time to have a look at some of the other ones as well. So if teddies aren't your thing, then I have got some new cookie cutters that have come out. Let's move the teddies out of the way. I'll put you over there. Okay. And that is these. So what are these? Very good question. I have made pansy cookie cutters. So these are new today. So they are pansy cookie cutters. I think I've got a bit of an obsession with pansies at the moment. I keep seeing them everywhere. Now I'm obsessed with them, which sounds very typically me, to be perfectly honest. So we have a large and we have a mini. So they are in a set of two. We've just discussed this earlier. So just remember that sometimes we can't print things separately. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. And this is one of the ones we can't. They have to be in a set, I'm afraid. So actually that isn't the large one. Let me get rid of that one. Sorry, that was the one, that was our test one. That's the large one. That looks better. I was thinking, what's happened to it? It shrunk. That's the large one, that's the mini. All right, so that's them together as a set. And this is the large one. I'm going to put one together for you so you can see just how easy it is. And obviously pansies are available in loads of different colours, so you can go mad with this. You can literally have whatever it is that you like. So we're going to start with some white. And they're very quick to do. These are going to be great for cupcakes. Really, really good for cupcakes. Because you can imagine a whole tray of cupcakes decorated in pansies. I reckon that'd be the nicest thing ever. You go into a garden centre at the moment for inspiration. There's masses and masses of pansies about. So it's winter pansies, isn't it? So if you fancy having a go, then this is for you. All right. And also you can use them any time of the year, can't you? So let's get this rolled out to start with. And also very good with royal icing. Yeah, I do show everything on here in sugar paste. The reason I do that is because obviously it's quicker for me to demonstrate them this way. But I think for lots of people, royal icing might not be the thing they want to do. But certainly for sugar paste, it can be quite quick. So we're going to do this large one here. Let me just make sure I've got it rolled out large enough. There we go. And then we'll put this one on here like that. We'll take the cookie cut and pop that on top. And we're going to cut down, give it a wiggle, make sure you cut right through, and then we'll take that bit away, like so, and then we'll turn it upside down, and then I'm just, whoops, lifted, just going to press the markings that are under here. Make sure we've got it all. Flip it back, there we go. And then we've got our pansy there. So this is one of the large ones. I always tend to demonstrate the large ones so that you can actually see them on screen, because the small ones are lovely, but they're quite difficult for you to see on screen. So I tend to decorate the larger ones. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to do the lower half of this cookie. So we're going to do this bit here, and we're going to cut the other bit off and do that bit in a different colour, because of course I did lots of research on pansies once I started getting going on this. I'll just put that out of the way so I don't knock that over. And I'm going to remove this part here. So I'm going to take this piece out like so. Turn that round. And I'm going to take that. There you go. So we can remove that bit. And we're going to pop this bit on top like that. So that's where we're starting. Okay. All right, so pansies are in lots of different colours, and I have mixed up using Colour Splash Violet, some purple, or some pale purple colour. I'll show you, I I did something with this, which I'll show you afterwards, and then you can see which you prefer. I'm going to take this now. Let's roll that out. Okay, back on here again. Actually, I'm going to put a bit of icing sugar on this because it feels like it's getting a bit tacky. There we go. And then what we're going to do here is turn that round, press that down, like so, give it a wiggle. Okay, just take off the excess around the outside edge, don't really want that. And then I'm going to flip it over. And then I'm interested in this bit up here, so I need to make sure I've pressed that bit there. That's the bit we want. Turn it back round, press down. There we go. Right, oh, I didn't mark it quite 100%, that's okay. I will mark it myself. There we go. Just going to take these bits out. Okay, remove that. And then I'm just going to take my cutting wheel and I'm going to take this bit out. Like so. Pansies, to be honest with you, there are so many different colours. The variations were huge. So if you want to make really strong ones or really pale ones, then you certainly have plenty of options. There's no question about it, what you can do with these. So I'm going to pop that piece in there. And again, because it's sugar paste, you can sort of spread it around a bit so that it fits. Like so, there we go. And then what I did then was take hold of a little bit of, so you could use that, leave it like that if you want to, but what I did then was take hold of a little bit of yellow, just put a little blob in the middle there. Let's turn that round. And I pop that, make sure I get the right bit here. I'm using yellow because I've got yellow made up for something else. So if you don't have yellow, a little bit of white's fine. And then I'm just going to take, I was going to take this, but it's got black on it. That's helpful. Right, there we go. Black on it now. Just push that down. Like so. Let's turn that back round. And then I've taken paintbrush number 3. All right. I'm going to dip it in some primrose yellow. So we get really nice bright colour here. And then I'm going to just literally paint some lines on here. So you can go out as far as you want to with this, it's up to you. Use some reference points here. I find that looking online, you really do find some good reference points with these. Take those out. In fact, what I might do with this one, which is actually what I did with the other one, is I'll paint the entire bottom of this yellow and then we'll keep that top part. A little bit white on the sides. Okay. That way. Let's turn that round and then bring that out like so. Now if you wanted to add some veins to this, so if you're sort of thinking, oh, it's very flat, I'd like some veins in there, you can use one of the Dresden tools, and if you just kind of follow it round, you can add in veins. So if you prefer to have a few kind of more realistic looking pansies, then you can certainly do that. You don't have to press that hard, you just have to kind of make sure you're going in the right direction. So if you're not going in the right direction, then it just looks a bit weird. So just follow it round like so. That's the main one, we need to keep that one in, so we've got that there. And again, you can do the same with this, so although I've already painted it, actually it won't matter. You can just do some lines in here, but keep them quite light Don't sort of dig in too far with them. I think the lines make it look a little bit more realistic. So if you want to make them look like, you know, they're more genuinely pansies, then the lines do help. Okay, and actually it doesn't matter whether the paint goes on first or not. And we'll do some that way. So you can see I'm turning them round and doing them in the direction of the petal rather than just randomly. Okay, all right. So don't forget we do smaller ones as well. So these are going to look fab when they're done. And then we're going to go round to black. And we'll take hold of some black with paintbrush number 1. And then you can obviously take these and you can start, it might be it's not quite dry yet. It's just about, if it's not quite dry, it's going to pick up the other colour, which it is doing a little bit. So I'm just going to be very careful with this for the moment. I might have to paint it twice. You can then start copying or adding in your pansy image from YouTube or whatever it is you found, or from Google or the garden centre. You'll all be obsessed with pansies now. You'll all go around looking at them going, what colours can I do? So if you wanted to do a really nice kind of like spring box, like a treat box for Mother's Day or something along those lines, you could certainly include pansies in this because I think they would look really nice. Just keep your brush. Go around that way. I'm going to show you my test one in a minute so you can see some differences I made to it, so you have a different idea what to do. There we go. How easy is that? Isn't that lovely? It's so sweet. It's a really easy cutter to use. It doesn't take very long to make them. I just think they're really, really lovely. So I said I did a test one earlier, so this one is slightly different from this one. So this is my test one. If you wanted to make this much darker, so if you preferred it to be darker, I did just take some Wonder Dust and I put that over the purple, and I did get a much more purple colour, because again, when you go online, you'll also see that a lot of the pansies are very dark. So if you wanted to increase that purple colour, you could mix up a darker sugar paste, or if you want it to be slightly translucent, you could just focus on putting some of this over the top of that there, and I actually think that actually works quite well. So if you are thinking of doing some darker ones, have a look at the Wonder Dusts and see, but this Regal Purple one there I think works really nice. But there are also lots of these type ones where it's much softer, and particularly the smaller ones, the sort of ones that are more like peachy colour, would look nicer I think as a small one rather than a larger one. I think the larger ones need the drama of the black to make them look like pansies, whereas the smaller ones I think you'll get away with doing slightly different things. But there you go. So that's the pansy cookie cutter. There is a large one and a small one. They are together in a set. This is a 7cm one and this is a 3cm one. So this is for cupcakes and this one is to go in treat boxes and things like that, although this also could be in treat boxes if you were making Mother's Day ones up, and we will do some of those over the next few weeks. We will do some treat boxes that have included lots of flowers in chocolate, and also cookie cutters as well, so you'll be able to see kind of how that work. So the pansies are in sets of 2. Don't get distracted by my initial showing you of this other one, ignore that. They are in sets of 2, which is large and mini. Okay, mini and large, ignore the other one, that was me with the prototype. Not the right one. I have all these prototype ones lying around, which sometimes does not help me on my live. So there we go. Right, I've got another cookie cutter to show you now, which is a very quick one to assemble. You're going to like this one because this is going to be fabulous for Easter and also to bring us some sunshine in our lives, because we are heading now towards spring. So I'm going to show you this one next. It's ever so quick to do. Okay. I'll show you what this one looks like. So let me just do a little swap round of everything because I've got piles of stuff everywhere, as you can imagine. Do a little swap. Oh, actually, before I go too much further, when you do, if you want to do leaves in the boxes to do with these, there is a leaf cookie cutter, but if you want to make it smaller, that's what I did here. So all I did here was I cut out my leaf, I turned it around, and then I cut it back so it was shorter. So you can make shorter leaves out of the leaf cookie cutter. So if you don't want to end up with great big leaves, perhaps you're doing smaller ones, cut them out, turn it round and cut it back, and you will get smaller leaves out of one cookie cutter. So this one, we sold it in the summer as a surfboard as well, but we've also got it listed as a leaf. So if you do want to do the leaves amongst your treat boxes, then that's how to do those, which we will be doing another time. So don't forget about that one as well. Right, okay, let me move this out of the way. So I'll put the pansies over there. And we're going to introduce this one. So this one is called Daffodil. Now we do have large daffodil already on the site. This is small daffodil, so this is mini. The large one is on the site as well, so be very careful. If you want the large one, it comes out the same size as the pansy. So it's a 7cm one. This is a mini one for cupcakes. So let me show you how to do this. So I've just done a very basic idea with this. I haven't made it complicated particularly. So I've just taken some yellow sugar paste and I'm just going to roll it out like so. I didn't want to overcomplicate this one because I think this one can be kind of done en masse, and I think it'll be quite a good one to do en masse. So we're going to take our cookie cutter and we're going to get all the edges off to start with. So you can do this with the large or the small one, okay? So it doesn't matter either or, but this is the new mini version of the large one. So press that around there like that. So this is the mini, okay? This is not the large one. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is take hold of some royal icing, and we're going to pop that on there like so. There we go. And then I'm going to take my Dresden tool again, and I'm just going to mark some lines on here because I can. It looks quite nice. I'm just going to go around and do that. So these are very quick to make. All right, and then what I decided is I took some orange royal icing. I'm trying to make use of some of the nozzles and things that you've got, except this was blocked. Let me just unblock this. There we go. That's it. So this is Wilton 18, and all I'm going to do is just put a blob in the middle, like so. I'm just going to flatten that down just so it covers the area. I don't want it to be standing or anything, so I'm just going to flatten that down like so. And then I'm going to take this bag and I'm going to pipe going up like this, going round. And this, I think, makes a very effective daffodil very quickly without it being too complicated. That's it. It's done. Okay. It's very, very easy to do, very, very quickly. So there you go. There's a lot of them together, and they do look really nice together rather than having, so if you were doing treat boxes again, you can put little tiny cupcakes amongst what you're doing. So I think that it does work really well from that point of view, again, if you're filling things up. So this is a cupcake, obviously cupcake size. So that would sit on top of there like that. So you'll be able to see how it works like that. Okay, so this is mini daffodil. So don't forget there's also large daffodil, which is obviously a big one, and you could decorate it in the same way if you wanted to do it just like I've done it now, or you could do it your own way, do it slightly differently. Maybe you want to pipe it as a ruffle, but personally, I think that they look like daffodils, and if they're on top of cupcakes, people will go, oh, look at those lovely daffodils, and they won't think twice about how you've done it. They will literally recognise them immediately, and then they will consume them very quickly. So I don't think you'll have too many problems of those around. So that is the mini daffodil cookie cutter. As I say, if I put it on top of a cupcake, most people then go, oh yes, I see what size it is. But just be careful again on the site, remembering of course that there is also a large one on there. The mini envelope has now turned up with the large, and again I'm afraid it is still part of a pack of 2, but I wanted to just show you an example again of what the mini one looks like, because we didn't have it last week or last time I was on here, but we do have it now, and that again fits on top of a cupcake. So if you wanted to make a cupcake with a little envelope on top, the mini envelope is part of the set. So it is a large and a small one together, and again I just did this kind of comic book style thing there. The heart in the middle, I actually took some paste and I pushed it into the heart itself. So I didn't cut it out, I literally took some paste, so I rolled it into, let's see if I can find a little bit here. So I rolled it into a little ball, and I needed more than that, hold on. So I pushed it into the heart like so. There we go. So I ended up with a bit of a 3D heart like that. Make sure it fits, and then just pushed it out, and I ended up with a heart that looks like that. So that's how you deal with that one. Obviously when you push it out you get a dent in one side, but you don't in the other, so that's the side you're going to use. And obviously you put in as much as you want. And when I went to put it onto the little envelope and just pressed it down, it sort of fitted really quite nicely. So if you want to use that exactly, that's how you would go about doing that one there. Okay. Right, I've got one more mould to show you, which is going to become another one of your kind of must-haves. Got to have it in my kit. You will never be able to survive without this mould ever. And I say this laughing because all my students have this mould, and I thought it'd been discontinued, and I was right, it had been discontinued, but I have spoken very, very nicely to the people that made it, and they've agreed to start making it again for me, and I've just had a delivery of it, so I am absolutely over the moon that I've got this back. So some of you may or may not recognise this mould, some of you will be, oh, what's that? But I'm telling you now, again, it's like tiny decorations. It's a mould that I've always got on me without fail. So I'm going to show you what it is now. I'm just making up a little bit of sugar paste so I can show you exactly. So I'm going to move my daffodil back here for the moment. Pop those over there. There we go. Right, okay. What's the most difficult thing you have to do when you're doing people modelling? Apart from their faces, the one thing that people go, oh no, and they have to do it and it never goes right, and you think, right, there must be a way around this. Now the reason I've got this back is because one of my courses that's going to be coming later in this year needs this mould, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to get this mould in now because I think it's going to work really well, and I'm so pleased that we've been able to get it. So I'm going to show you how this works. So this is an arm, so this is coming off a model. Okay, so I'm going to take hold of this, and I'm just going to put a little line in the middle there like so, and I'm just going to bend it. Okay, I'm going to flatten the end like so. I'm going to take hold of a ball tool, and I'm just going to push that into the middle there like that. We all know what that's going to be ready for, don't we? Well, we hope we do anyway. We're missing a hand, aren't we? So I have got here for you mould of the century. You'll love this. Here we go. Right, hands. Hands, hands, hands and hands. Feet, fairy wings, butterfly wings, crown, star, little bell. That is actually a duck's beak, would you believe it? Heart and another little bow. So this one is listed as hands and feet, I believe, on the website. Now I've only got a very limited supply of them at the moment. They've literally just arrived. But I'm going to show you now how quick and easy it is to do a little hand. So here we go, we've got our arm, it's all ready, and we're in the middle of doing our modelling. So we're going to make a hole in the sleeve there. So why would you need this over and above sort of anything else that's already got a hand mould on it? Because you don't often need sometimes to do the whole thing, you just need a hand, literally a hand. So you take hold of your colour, so I've got my little bit of pink here. I'm just going to put a little bit of icing down there so it doesn't stick. And then you place it into the hand mould like so. And you have this hanging off the edge, and that's so you end up with a wrist, okay? So this is one of the moulds that you're going to end up with a wrist on. So we're going to push it right in. Now what you want to do is make sure that it's all within the lines, because if it isn't within the lines, you're going to end up with sort of webbed fingers, all right? So push that in, and you can see it's hanging off the edge there like so, okay? We're going to lift that off. Okay, I'm going to turn that over, and I'm going to hold that little hand up there for you to have a look at. Let me see if I can get it so it's not blurred. There we go. Can you see that? Okay, I'm going to put that down. It's stuck on me. There we go. Nice little hand. And then I'm going to just cut the end off there because I don't need that bit there. And then all I'm going to do is take hold of a little bit of water. Like so, just put that into there like that, take my hand, pop it in, close it up. I usually then just take my paintbrush and bend the fingers over, and voila, instant hands. Don't we like that one? Could that be any easier? I don't think it is. Now, I think this is super easy. I've had this mould for a very long time, and I actually thought it had been discontinued, and it's only when I started to think about doing this course this week that I rang up the supplier and said, would you make these for me again? And they've agreed to it. So this is a super duper mould that has just been relaunched again. So it is called Hands and Feet, and that is the larger hand. So if you're making something a bit smaller, then you would then change it over to a different colour. You're all now going, oh my God, I need that. Yeah, I thought you might. So if you then press this down here, lift it up, you can have a little baby hand, little tiny hands. They're so sweet. Now, I've only got, at the moment, limited supply in. If and when they sell out, I will order more. Now, the problem is there is a 2-week wait if they sell out. So, again, just beware if you go on there and they're sold out that I will get more. There is feet as well. I'm just going to give you a little tour of this mould here just while we're here. So you've got little feet here. So if you're doing... go, little baby shower, tiny little feet. Okay, and then obviously there's a little crown there. We all know what's coming, don't we? Coronation's coming. There is also some sets of wings here as well. So there's 3 sets of wings, little ones here, butterfly ones, and more sort of angel type ones here. I'm told that's a duck's beak, so we have to remember that. A bell, a star. The star's lovely, actually. I've done the star quite a few times over the years. I'm just gonna show you that one because I have done it. Now, if they look small and they're difficult to get out, it's all about the paste. So if you don't already have any Saraceno, please get some because it will help you massively. I'm doing this with Massa, which is okay, but I know it would be easier with Saraceno, much easier. So make sure that everything goes within the lines with this, but you get a really nice little star. There it is, tiny little star, tiny. So what's that say? Is there left and right? Left and right, left and right. Yes. So there are 2 sets of 2 sizes of the hands. So if I hold it up, that's left and right, left and right. So yes, the answer to that question is there is left and right. You've got 2 lots of feet there, your wings, your duck's beak, your crown, the bell, a little heart, a bow, and a star. So I'm going to show you one more time because it's very important, this, and I've had this with students before where they've not succeeded with this mould. So I'm going to show you one more time how to do this because it is very important. So if you take hold of this and you press it down like so, make sure you get it all in, but you have to have this within the lines of this mould. So you need to push it back so that you can see the outside edge of this, okay? If you can't see the outside edge, you're going to end up with it having a line all the way around the outside edge. So that's really important. And obviously you've got this bit hanging off here as well. So if I take that out, there's my hand. Okay, got my little hand. What you can also do if you wanted a longer hand is if you just take hold of the whatever's left over and you can just roll it. And then you can extend the hand. So if you wanted to make something a little bit longer, perhaps they're wearing a dress or something, you can extend it that way so that you can increase and make your own arms there as well, okay? Like that. How cool is that? It is honestly one of the best things I have ever had. I've had this mould for years, and I said I did teach for years and years and years before I went online, and everybody bought tiny decorations. Everybody bought this one, which is the hands and feet, and everybody had the bow mould. These were the 3 moulds that every single one of my students had, because they are the ones that I have to hand all the time. They are the ones that you literally cannot do without. And yes, if you look very closely, I'm trying to make sure you can see this as best as you possibly can, the hands do have little tiny dimples on the knuckles. The detail in this is phenomenal. It's really lovely. But for a simple, I need a hand just to go inside a shirt because I'm making a model and I don't want to make the hands because they're a bit of a nightmare, then this is a very, very quick way to be able to add hands to your models. So there you go. So that's a new mould that I have managed to get the supplier to make. Happy days. And we've now got a nice hand mould back in again. All right. So there we go. It's all good news, isn't it? We don't come on here for bad news. It's all good news on here. Right, okay, let's have a little look at my little list and see where we are. Oh yes, I forgot to mention those. So we've had these lovely red boxes. I'm going to put a hand over there for a minute. We've had the lovely red boxes that we've been using for the teddies. We have now got white ones in stock as well. So we have now got white ones that are suitable for single size cookies. They do also fit the birthday bear. So the birthday bear fits inside that as well, as does the large pansy, which I've just covered. There it is. The large pansy also fits inside of that box there. So I've been trying really hard to get boxes that fit the cookies that we're making. So if you wanted to make a nice pretty biscuit for someone to give away, there are white boxes in sets of 2 online, and they're obviously the red ones are in sets of 2 as well. And the red ones, actually, it doesn't really matter what time of year it is, Christmas Eve, and I dread to say that word, but you know what I mean. Red is fine for any time of year, birthdays, all those kinds of things. So there you go. All right, so those are, I'm going to turn them over so you can see them. They come pre-assembled. They're really good boxes. Okay, nice clear lids, suitable for selling, definitely, or giving away as gifts anyway. So there you go, some more ideas there for you. Right, I'm running out of breath now. And ideas, and I'm sure you're all sitting there going, oh my god, is there anything else? No, there isn't today. So I'm just going to go back over everything I talked about. So if you join me later on today, you will be able to go back and watch the live. So once the live is complete, you will be able to go back and watch this either on here or on YouTube itself, one or the other. If you place an order over the weekend, then if you place more than one order over the weekend, we will combine the postage. There will be a minor delay in the parcels going out this week because it is Valentine's Day on Tuesday, and we have a number of orders to get out first, and then we will move on to the mail order. So there will be a slight delay because normally we're very quick and the parcels leave very, very quickly, but there will be a minor delay this week. So please take note of that. So just going back and recapping, so back to the cake school. So the cake school on next week sees the new pink peony and zinnia cupcake bouquet. So that one you'll find on the cake school, not on Let Shops. You'll need to go over there for that. So have a look over there. Once you get over onto that side, you'll also see that we've got the new scenery painting one that I showed you earlier. So we're now introducing scenery painting. And then I've also talked about the fact we're doing certificates for completion of some of our courses as well. And these are going to start being fed onto the cake school shortly. So if you do want to have a go at some of the other courses that we've got on our site, and you want to feel like you've achieved something and we're going to do it within a certain amount of time, there are certificates that you will be able to pick up as well. So hopefully it will keep you all motivated and be able to enjoy everything that we've got to offer on the cake school as well. And actually, sometimes you'd be amazed, but people are persuaded to have a go at something because there's a piece of paper involved, and that is exactly what we want. We want people to feel that they can achieve something by having a go at the beginner's painting, for example. So many people have done it since the beginning of Christmas, and so many people have gone, I've bought the box, I haven't opened it, now I've opened it, oh my goodness me, this is the best thing ever. So I want you to spend some time with me on the cake school discovering things about that perhaps you've put off, like airbrushing, or perhaps Swiss meringue buttercream, or painting. And then once you've had a go at it, by getting a certificate that kind of pushes you into it, you're going to realise just how much you actually enjoy certain other aspects of cake decorating. Royal icing has always been a subject that lots of people are quite frightened of, and chocolate paste as well is another subject, but again we have certificates for those, and you will find that you will be able to go, well actually I did that and I really enjoyed it. So many people were surprised during COVID when we did the royal icing how much they enjoyed it. Yes, it's not 100% easy to do, but that's the point. It's always a little bit challenging, and when you get to the end of it and get your certificate, you will feel such a sense of achievement and a whole new skill base that you will then be able to use across all these other different things that you do with cake. And I often say making a cake is like making a jigsaw puzzle up. Someone goes, oh, I'd like a cake, and you go, how can I do that? And it's that thought process of getting to the point where you need to be so that you can actually create this cake is the important part of cake decorating. So the more kind of skills you pick up, so I can now paint, I can now use an airbrush, I can now do Swiss meringue buttercream, it then gets you into a zone of being able to do all of these lovely things. So that's the cake school, and again, membership or buying classes is an option. So the scenery painting class is available to buy as a class, or alternatively join as a monthly member, and you would be very welcome, and then it will give you access to lots and lots of different classes. Okay, so back to Let's Shop. So a note to say that the coronation stuff is now starting to appear on the website. I know we're in February, but it's in May, and it's going to come round very, very quickly. So it's the beginning of May. So you've got March and April to get organised if you are having coronation street parties. So you're going to find now that the cupcake discs are on there, and also the large images as well for bigger cakes. So they're kind of like A4 size, a little bit smaller than A4 size, but they can be printed and put onto your cake as well. So there's bits appeared on that already. We've also got Mother's Day discs. We've got new ones this year, new designs. So those have now appeared. You'll be able to see that. And then obviously we've got the golden egg kit. Now I did notice somebody else was asking earlier, can we have it as not a kit? I'm afraid it is only available as a kit at the moment. And that's purely because I can't get any more moulds. I'm working on it. And don't forget, we're not quite at Easter yet. And if I can get some more moulds, we will split it. But for the moment, it is part of a kit. And actually, if you buy it all as a kit, it makes it cheaper for you than it is to buy it all separately anyway. We're always going to eat chocolate, aren't we, at Easter? We know that. We also looked this morning at patchwork cutters. We looked at the spring set, and we also looked at the elephant. So I did a little elephant paint for you at the start, so you'll be able to see how to do that. And then we moved on to the new cookie cutters, which included the mini teddy with the heart and also the birthday bear. Two sizes there, large and mini. And I did also say and point out earlier that on the website I have actually listed it as large and mini. I'm trying very hard to help you here, because I know that it's going to be a tiny bit confusing when you come to order it, but really look at the wording on it to make sure you have got the right one that you want, so you don't end up in a muddle like me. Also, we've got the pansies, which are out in a set of 2, and then the mini daffodil as well, which is suitable for cupcake toppers. The mini envelope has now arrived that goes with the large one, so that's now ready to go. So we have got those in stock as well. And then finally, obviously, the can't do without hand mould, which I've managed to get remade. Yes, there is a God. I knew I'd get someone to do it for me. We've been able to get that mould back up again, which is a mould that this is where I've realised I've been doing cakes for a very long time. And actually, it's 40 years this year I've been doing cakes. I cannot believe it. I've been in business 30. And I've been doing this 40 years. So lots of this equipment, sometimes I've had a very long time, and I start to do classes and things. I think, oh, I wish they made that cutter again, you know. Oh, I wonder who made it. Oh, I found out who made it. Oh, we can get it again. So you can kind of see how cycles come around. So it's really lovely to be able to get this mould back up and running again, so that we've all got access to it. And we can all make hands now. We don't need to worry about hands. Use the mould. I tell you what, over the years, I have never made hands. If I can avoid it, I will. I will get my hand mould out as quickly as possible That is something to do with being a commercial cake decorator, I think, because why am I going to spend so much time making hands when I can just use that mould? It's a lot quicker. So anyway, so I've shown you the new mould that's there as well. So Let's Shop won't be here next week. We are going to be doing a live on a Tuesday evening on about, I think it's the 21st of February, and I'm going to be coming on with Kelly. So Kelly will be here. She's visiting from the Netherlands. So I said to her, right, we're doing a live, but I will put that up so that you know where to find us, because I haven't decided yet whether it'll be here or on the other site, the Tracey Mann Cake site, but we will put up an event post. Now, when you see an event post go up, if you click going or interested, you will get reminded, because we have lots of people saying before, I couldn't find you, I didn't know where you were, I forgot it was on. If you click that event post and say I'm interested or I'm going, it will help you get a prompt so that you know where to find us. Okay, so that's quite important. If you see any of those around, and we've been putting them on the Instagram stories, we've had them on the stories for this page as well. If you see it and you are interested, I'm not saying you have to go, but if you're interested, click it, because it will remind you. Because sometimes when you're scrolling through Facebook, all these different things come up and you forget where you are, but that's there to help you so that you know when the lives are going to be taking place. And obviously, if you don't watch the lives, or you can't watch the lives can't watch the lives live, if that is ever a sentence, you can come back and watch them on YouTube, or obviously on here as well, because the live will stay on here and you'll be able to come back and watch it. If you have any questions about any of the products that we're showing you, then do please get in touch. We're more than happy to help you. I do need to go back to the website and add some dimensions on the cookie cutters, but the large ones are 7 centimetres and the minis are 3, so hopefully that's pretty standard across the board and will make a lot of sense. But I will go back and add that. Sometimes there is a rush to get everything on the site before we go live, and that is me to a T. So yes, they are on the site, but I will go back and tie that up later on so everybody knows. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me today. It's been a while, so I think the last live we did was about 3 weeks ago. So I feel that if we come back on and we have a whole new load of stuff to show you, I think it makes for a much more interesting live for everybody, and also a nice Saturday morning going through a few bits and pieces. So thank you very much for everyone that's joined us. Thank you, Nikki, for doing the links for me. I do appreciate it very much. So thank you, Nikki. And I will see you all again soon. So we'll look forward to releasing a new date for you and letting you know when we'll be back. So take care, have a lovely day, and we'll see you all again.